You know, it's days like today that I'm very grateful that Counter-Strike is my job. The excitement of the major, being able to experience that with you guys, both in my Discord during watch parties, as well as around this content that I produce every day. It's just fucking sick, man. And we're done. We're ready. The playoffs are next week. We have one of the best major playoff brackets, maybe ever. And to cap it off, we had exciting fireworks in many of the games today. We had NAVI with a statement 2-0 victory over Bait. Faze with an astounding victory over Passion UA, where at one point I thought we were on the way into the gutter, but then Faze bullshit came up at just the right moment. And finally, one of the most emotionally charged matchups we've seen in Counter-Strike. G2 with Hunter at the helm versus Falcons with their former star duo, as well as Hunter's cousin Nico at the helm. And through the first map at Ancient, despite Nico putting on one of the best T-sides we've seen from him in quite a while, G2's tenacity, their strength of teamwork, allowed them to take a 1-0 series lead. We go to Inferno, a map that has vexed the Falcons at so many different points, Kioske specifically, and what happens? m0NESY arrives at the major. A cataclysmic moment for G2 as m0NESY goes God mode. Alongside good performances out of Kioske and Nico, let it be said, but m0NESY was unstoppable and took Falcons to their first major playoff appearance. Let's go ahead and get one last group stage recap out of the way. Make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. At the time of me recording, we are 30 subs away from 10,000. Let's finish it tonight. 30 of you who are going to watch this video, subscribe. Let's hit 10K by tomorrow morning. I know we can do it. And if you're on mobile, make sure you hype the video as well. Push it into the algorithm for new people to find my content. And lastly, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey, a CS2 trading website. You put in the skins that you want to trade, you select what you want, you use my code LionHeartZ for up to $5 off, or click the top link in the description, and boom, new drip.
Nice.
You can also use my code for a 35% deposit bonus if you want to buy with real money. And they have a free section with cool giveaways. So check the top link in the description, use my code to buy 15 Dragon Lores to let them know I sent you their way, and thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. We opened up with NAVI getting past Bait in 2-0 fashion. We had NAVI taking a commanding first win on Ancient 13-4, which was certainly shocking as Bait were on a 7-map land win streak on it up until that point. We walk up to Ancient, we have a very poor performance out of MPL and Alex at 4-13 and 6-13 respectively. Meanwhile, everybody came to shoot on NAVI. m0NESY had that fucking fabulous opening pistol round, just some of the cleanest USP shots I've seen in quite a while. But I mean, legit, take your pick. Every single player on NAVI was positive. Emma was good, wonderful, good. Everybody good. Train proved to be an absolute bloodbath, and the amount of highlights that come out of this Train game are remarkable. NAVI walk away with an overtime win at the end, 16-14, but just in like the first couple of rounds, you had Emma with a great 4K. He follows up with another 4K clutch like 2 rounds later. Then Bit gets a 4K and a clutch not long after. Still in the same half, Wonderful gets a 1v2 clutch on round 8, then Alex fires back with a 1v3 clutch of his own on round 9. It's just rare that you see a half of Counter-Strike this full of highlights, and the game still remained close thereafter. Like, Bait and NAVI went blow for blow. It was 6-6 halves on both of the first halves before we get into overtime. Bait getting us into that position after falling down 12-9, and to win 3 in a row on the T side to get us 2 extra rounds. The problem was, once we get into OT, Wonderful comes alive, fabulous impact with the op, a lot of great pushes through Pop Dog from NAVI on the CT side set. They really prioritized being aggressive into upper B throughout most of their CT side, which was really interesting to watch play out. And once again, it's worth noting just how excellent Wonderful has been in this stage of the major. He's entering the playoffs as the 6th best player overall with a 1.30 rating just behind Robson Zywo. And that's even despite the fact that Wonderful had to play more maps than anybody else above him. So his impact so far has been fucking legit. And frankly, if Wonderful is going to be this good, the big question mark for NAVI going into the playoffs is really whether Emma and m0NESY will show up. Because Bit and Wonderful have been fucking rocks. And the calling from AlexF and Blade is as excellent as it's ever going to be. So really, I don't even feel like this is that big of a thing to say. NAVI are a legit dark horse in this major. Their first quarterfinal is against Furia, who are no doubt the major favorites. But dude, let's not play around. There is a world where NAVI can win that game. they are not 100% out of the running of making it past Furia. And if they somehow beat Furia, holy fuck, the entire major just opens up for everybody. I really do think people are going to look at the quarterfinals right now and assume that NAVI have one of the least favorable matchups because NAVI have not been so good throughout this year. But right now, with the current form at the major, NAVI have a chance, and I want people to be just aware of that. As a final note on Bait, you guys came up one game short of making top 8 at the major, and that's really commendable. Bait have shown an incredible, enduring quality of Counter-Strike for kind of a bordering top 15 team this entire year. If I had to point out one thing, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video, was that I thought MPL would really need to perform for Bait to have a chance in this series. And unfortunately, he was the worst player in the server for both teams, even worse than AlexF. He went 22 and 35 with a .72 rating over both maps. And frankly, that's just not good enough. Bait are respectable because it's an all-Ukrainian team. They're making their way through the online stuff very efficiently. They make appearances at LANs now, and frankly, they always put on a good show. The question is, what is the next step for this team to really take that leap into the next level? I'll be interested to see if they decide to make any roster moves or what they look like going into 2026. And then we had yet another Faze series that nearly killed me at some points, especially on the first map of Overpass. But at the end of the day, Faze, on the improbable run from the end of stage 1, where I was convinced that you would need to sell this Faze team for parts, to that remarkable 3-0 birth through stage 2, and then the up and down nature of stage 3, Faze have yet again made the playoffs of a major with maybe their most inconsistent lineup ever, and frankly the lineup that people had the least amount of belief in. At no point during any part of the major cycle was I convinced that Faze could make top 8. I thought they would have exited way sooner, and in way more disastrous fashion. But time and time again, Faze bullshit is literally the magic that binds everything together. Faze are the most entertaining team in Counter-Strike. They are the hardest team to watch in Counter-Strike at many times. They will take you on a ride for good or ill, but somehow at the other end of that tunnel, even though my hair is shot with gray and I am long in the tooth and my back hurts, Faze have some fucking how made it. Now, immediately, they have to play m0NESY, so I can't help but feel like we are in for misery, but m0NESY love to throw games, and Faze love bullshit, so who the fuck knows? Before we get too deep into talking about the maps, I want to address the Brokey in the room here, and that's the fact that Brokey got better throughout this major. From sell him to the Guangdong Tigers, to, okay, we limited the damage in stage 2, to just legit being good in stage 3, Brokey has stepped up time and time again. Now, there were still Brokey moments. There were still, why the fuck is he on this team moments out of Brokey? They were still there, and I still hate them. But again, I will call fair as fair. I'll call balls and strikes. Brokey was good in this stage, he was good in this series, and he was pivotal for Faze to beat Passion UA. Now, my big fucking concern still is that Brokey is terrible against real oppers. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to Halzerk, he doesn't have the mullet anymore. He's not a real opper. I am fully ready and bracing for impact for Torji to dog walk this man next week, because Torji is an actual good top 5 caliber op in the world, and Brokey is nowhere close. And above all else, I will not apologize for criticizing Brokey for the fact that he has had one good stage of the major after being apocalyptically bad for over a year now. You do not get credit for pulling shit together and figuring it out right before you're going to get kicked. Like, Faze still need to replace Brokey in the offseason. Even if Faze win the major and Brokey drops 150 kills each map, doesn't die, dual wheels ops running up mid, bunny hopping, and gets fucking 4-man collaterals, I don't care. He still is a problem. Now, all that being said, inshallah, I hope Brokey fries m0NESY in the quarterfinals because, again, I am a Faze fan and I want them to win. I'm just saying, I'm not apologizing anytime soon. I'll never apologize. Never. Anyways, this Overpass map damn near killed me. Why? Because it was back and forth, very close first half. Faze edged out a 7-5 lead on their CT side. They immediately lost their pistol round and couldn't get a footing on the T side whatsoever. And in the middle of that early 5-round flurry from Passion UA on their CT side, they got back-to-back ninja diffuses on Faze. Back-to-back ninja diffuses. Not even in smokes. Or, well, no, one of them was in smokes. Nick Actus one was in smokes. But the first one, Halzerk just diffused the bomb on A in the middle of the open. Kerrigan swung, and God, I love Kerrigan, but good lord, was it painful watching him miss 17 taps on a standing still target. Now listen, I too would miss all those shots, but I also don't get paid probably 20, 30K a month from Faze to miss those shots. So yeah, it sucks. And then the next one with NICX was even more unforgivable because Twist was in there knifing in the smoke, couldn't find him, back-to-back ninja defuses. I thought it was over. It's the end. Sell the team. 9/11 for Faze fans. A second ninja defuse has hit the tower. One of these days, these 9/11 jokes are to catch up to me, but I don't fucking care. At that point, you're down 10-7 on T-side overpass. This should just be map over for Passion UA. This should be just a 1-0 lead for them. But Faze just put together incredible full buy round after full buy round and just straight up beat Passion UA in all of the gun rounds. Take your pick. Jacob had incredible moments of taking space, winning duels. Same thing with Twist and Frozen. The rotates by Kerrigan were so smart. Brokey backed everyone up really efficiently. And Passion UA, listen, this is one of the most miserable losses I've ever seen from a team. Passion UA won both pistol rounds, converted the early game off of them, and still lost. Because Passion UA, outside of those pistol rounds, won like 0 full buy rounds. Their only full buy round wins in the second half were the 2 ninja defuses. That's fucking insane. I have rarely seen a choke like that, ever. And the mental resilience out of Faze to take those defuses on the chin, reset. I believe after NICX's one, there was a tech pause. So there was like a 10-minute wait where Faze couldn't say anything to each other. They just had to stew on those back-to-back ninjas, and they recover right away with a great round win. It was remarkable mental fortitude in a way that you rarely see from Faze lately. They close out this T-side, winning 6 of 7 rounds. Got him. Which is, it's remarkable. And then moving into Mirage, it's... I don't know, my brain is short-circuiting right now live as I'm trying to record this, but I'm just going to leave it in. Faze just, like, they played better. Like, Faze just straight up played better team-coordinated Counter-Strike. Brokey was incredible, so was Frozen. Brokey had a lot of great op impact. Faze roundly dominated in terms of opening kills, 15-9 for the map. Jacob was awesome. Jacob had that 1A hold in the second half where he stuck, doubled up with Frozen, I think it was, on Firebox because they get pushed back by the mollies, and Jacob's there with the FAMAS, and he just wins 2 duels that he has no business winning. Alzerk had an incredible miss there that would have changed the entire trajectory of the round, but he misses that shot, and Jacob just stands tall to hold A against all odds on this bad eco buy out of Faze. There was another similar round actually where, speaking of Brokey terrorism, Faze had this position where Passion UA were splitting into A, and Kavem gets an entry coming up connector, and then we cut to Brokey in jungle, and Brokey just misses an easy shot on Kavem with his back to him. Like, this is just a shot that every operator is going to hit, especially at this level, but he misses it. And that gives Passion UA, like, foundation at the top of stairs because Brokey has to fall back, where Halzer can go on top of the stairs and get a triple kill on the Faze players who are pushed towards A main because Brokey hasn't effectively made them worry about jungle off the back of that miss. And that feels like something that's going to, like, cost Faze the game. But once again, the resilience from Faze, they just recover from these bad situations so elegantly. And then just to put a pin in on the series, I think Passion UA are walking away feeling so bad about this because you guys should have at least won overpass, like, every time. But both these maps were in reach. Both of them were 13-11s. So there's a realistic chance where this goes 3 maps, or Passion UA just win the series outright. If they just break Faze's mental on overpass after those ninja defuses, who knows what the context of the rest of the series is. But, you know, they exit now, and it's a weird end to their season. They're trying to integrate Mirage after none of the Complexity guys having played it for quite a long time to make space for Kavem. Kavem looks shit hot on it, so maybe that's something to work into the future. Is NICX going to be replaced? I have no idea what the future's like for Passion, but they just occasionally play really good Counter-Strike, so I'm curious to see how that develops. And then for Faze, they entered to the playoffs, they got m0NESY. That's going to be such an uphill battle. Who knows how the fuck that's going to turn out. But just exiting stage 3, Jacob, best player for Faze with a 1.24 rating. It's just, I am astounded at Jacob's impact. And I don't know if it's just a one tournament pop-off, if he'll be like this going forward. But, you know, we at least see the vision with Jacob and Faze now. And if he just becomes a good player, that's fucking sick, man. And he looked like not just a good player, but a great one throughout this stage. So to Jacob, really, I just have to just, like, tip of the cap, man. You were fucking excellent. All right, guys, bear with me. I'm really tired, so I'm just going to yap about the Falcons series for hopefully 7 to 8 minutes, and then we're just going to get out of here. G2 versus Falcons, probably the series of the major so far. We start off on Ancient with Nico going on a fucking ridiculous tear. He starts off with the pistol ace on the A bomb site, just so efficient, so clean, so accurate. And that feels like, oh shit, Falcons might just run away with this early game momentum. And then they botch the second round in terrible fashion, despite Nico putting in, like, I think another triple kill, but it just falls apart at the end on a bad B hit. So Falcons, they convert an unforced error in the second round. And then Nico, roaring back once again on the third round, gets yet another triple kill, getting them into the B bomb site on a late rotate. And it's like, you know, through the first 4 rounds, Nico has 11 kills, 1 death. He can't fucking miss anything. This should just be Falcons storming away this T side. But G2, just insanely good, patient CT side play. They took their wins when they needed to. Sunpius having great impact. Heavy God, Hunter doing a lot of good work on the rotates. They exploited slow starts out of Kioske and m0NESY very well. And even when they did contribute, like on round 6, where m0NESY has that near ace, Hunter just comes through in the clutch to win the 1v1 to get the defuse off. The point is, despite Nico being godlike to start off, G2 kept things close. They keep it to a 6-6 half. And in the second half, this T side out of G2 was fucking brilliant. They held Falcons to just 3 round wins. And the bizarre thing is, Falcons couldn't win a gun round. The only full buy round of the half that Falcons won was their first on the 3rd round. But G2 would immediately win back momentum afterwards, win 2 in a row, and then Falcons on a bullshit force buy would win 1. But as soon as they get the guns in their hands, G2 immediately come back with 2 more wins of their own, including match point, and then Falcons once again win a bullshit force buy round, only for G2 to close out the game right after. So at no point could Falcons capitalize on the devil magic from their low econ buys, and G2 would always fire back with a great take, a great clutch out of Sunpius, a great entry out of m0NESY, whatever. They found anything they needed. Like, G2 just recovered and reacted to Falcons really well, and Falcons choked under the pressure yet again. Anything in the context of facing elimination, playing his brother on G2, it feels like everything's set up for G2 to take this miracle upset over the Falcons. We're going into Inferno, which has been Falcons' like worst map. Has been the worst map for Kioske by a mile. They never seem comfortable on it. They keep changing positions. Nothing's working on Inferno for the Falcons. And then the Falcons shit stomp G2 13-4. I mean, utter fucking domination, where things finally clicked for Kioske on the B side defense, and m0NESY went god mode with the CT side op. This is, we've been waiting for m0NESY to wake up at the major. He woke up on Inferno. The amount of he had 6 fucking multi kills for the map, and some of the shit he was doing with the op was just unholy. Of course, the big highlight plays, the last round and a half, that disgusting double no scope through the B smokes, through the CT smokes on the B, and then he pushes through with just an excellent flick onto the last player on top of oranges. Fucking godlike out of m0NESY. And I tweeted this out during Dust too, but I think it's true. m0NESY, and to a lesser extent m0NESY as well, are the 2 closest players, sent simple, who have that just unbelievable ability to take bullshit shots and just hit them. It just doesn't matter. Like, nobody else is going for those no-scopes there, but m0NESY, m0NESY, and Simple, and they hit them. And when they do, it's just like a fucking dagger into the enemy's back. When you're losing to just bullshit like that, how do you recover the mental in that moment? And then, you know, Hunter clearly tried to target Kioske here on their T side, because Kioske has been so weak, but this was the first time he didn't break. He was excellent on the B hold throughout the first half. He had 11 kills, 7 deaths. He had that big triple kill solo hold on the sandbags. Like, Kioske, he did good on Inferno for once. And keep in mind that Kioske doesn't play it, right? Kioske has 7,000 games on Faze. Shout out to Maui Snake for this tweet. Kioske has 7,000 games on Face It. He has 16 games on Inferno. He's played more officials on the Falcons or on Inferno than he has in his entire fucking life pugging on Face It. That's fucking insane. Inferno just ended so fast, so uncompetitive compared to how close Ancient was. And then we pull up into Dust 2, and this Dust 2 game is 13-10. G2 had a window where they could have won this, but at a certain point, m0NESY once again decided to just end the goddamn series. And m0NESY is so incredible, and he is the way I would describe it, especially if you're new around here. m0NESY basically pushes the op as far as it possibly can. He is the literal pinnacle, the highest level op player in the game. In terms of pure opping skills, m0NESY is the best opper in the world. In the same, like the other side of that coin, Donk is the best pure rifler in the world. And then in the middle, you have Zyro, who is not far behind either of them, but is one of the only players in the history of the game to be that excellent at both. So whereas Donk and m0NESY are just specialists, they are literally bionic with their signature weapons, Zyro is not that far behind, but does it with both, right? And so when m0NESY is on fire, and he's taking over with the op, he is one of those few players throughout history who can single-handedly change the context of a game and decide that we're winning this, I will win it for us, and there is nothing you can do. And honestly, the round that like sticks out so strongly in my memory isn't even an op round. It's round 15 on the second half. m0NESY has a scout, and he could have won this from a 1v3 with the scout, I'm convinced. He gets the first pick on the player long, falls back to retreat, works his way up on the catwalk. Sunpias is holding mid with an op, and m0NESY just swings, fast, flick, sits his ass down, cuts it to a 1v2. The remaining G2 players are pushing up long, no cross smoke. They have to walk into m0NESY holding the cross with the scout. Of course, m0NESY hits the first flick, body shot, takes out the first player. That comes down to, I think, Heavy God. I'm just going to pause right here. m0NESY gets this first kill. My first immediate thought when I was watching this was, go get the op that Sunpias dropped mid, rotate around along, win the round. m0NESY is so goddamn good at this game that he thinks he can take this ridiculous, like 4-frame re-peek flick shot and get away with it. And if m0NESY just wasn't the ego type of player, ego type of star player, in a good way, by the way, that demands, that muscle memory demands he takes this reshot, he repositions the mid, picks that up, and probably wins this round. It's one of the most remarkable clutches of the year. But instead, he takes the re-swing, dies for it. If m0NESY just had that foresight to not take that re-swing, I really think he wins that round. But it's just like, you can feel the fear of the G2 players when Sunpias dies, and they realize they have to cross A. There's no time to go B. We have to cross no man's land, and there is a demon behind the scout on the other side. And then, of course, the shenanigans are what bury G2 at the end. Kioske has a double no-scope op kill holding the B site. Then m0NESY on that great A hold towards the end of the game hits one no-scope through the fucking the cross smoke, then hits a Kukli shot on the player on bomb site, jumping no-scope to drop the bomb. Like, whatever, man. The game is just yours at that point. m0NESY could just... The Counter-Strike gods decided that m0NESY was not allowed to miss today, and he took full advantage. He didn't die for the last 4 rounds. He just fucking farmed G2 out of the server. And the best part to me, we get to see Spirit play Falcons in like the first quarterfinals this weekend. And normally I'm kind of sad about that because you'd want Spirit and Falcons to be like a semifinal matchup. But this bracket's so fucking loaded that, frankly, that's like not that bad of an outcome. But dude, if we get this version of m0NESY versus this version of Donk, and Spirit can try and overcome their demons against m0NESY and Nico, we are in for a fucking banger. Anyways, I'm gonna cut off there. For G2, man, you guys came so fucking close. Those earlier series against the Mongols especially are gonna hurt, but this G2 project will get better. I'm not that worried about it. It was a tough loss. m0NESY went unconscious. There's not much you can do when a player that good takes over. So it is what it is. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, show me leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, help me take us by the end of the year. Help me get those last 30 over the line. I would really appreciate it. Hype the video if you're on mobile. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring video. Check out links, turn the rest of this, and I sent you their way. Thank you to Skins Monkey. Thanks to my channel members. You guys know who you are. I'm just gonna keep it short today. If you want to support me directly, some way to do so. $5 a month. You normally get your name at the end of the video. Just say this was custom on the Discord. I'll see you guys soon in another video. Peace.